Okay, now I think we are live. I pushed the wrong button here. Turn off the computer at the same time trying to go live. So, okay, got my collagen here, my morning collagen. Been in crazy morning. A lot of dogs over here this morning, the neighbors' dogs and stuff like that. But anyway, what this live is about is remember we are doing a book review on the science of getting rich. We are on chapter 3. Yesterday I did chapter 2, but I did it from my phone. I went live when I was drinking my morning coffee. Then felt like reading this book. So we did chapter 2 yesterday. The only thing is I'm not too sure if it went public. So because I don't know if it's set up on the phone like that. If Oh, sorry about that. There's a little spot on there. I looked at it. I was like, "Oh, is that rust?" It was like dirt or something like that. But anyway, we are on chapter 3, the science of getting rich. Uh, the chapter 3 is called "Is Opportunity Monopolized?" This is a great chapter, and we will read it and go through it, discuss it. But remember, with this book, this is one of my all-time favorite books. So if you want to pick up this book is under the Power Wealth Classics. That's you can get it right from Amazon.com. Look up Power Wealth Classics. It should pop up. It's 3 books in one. you get the Invisible Power, the Science of Getting Rich, and you get old Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich as well. These 3 books right here are my all-time favorite books. That's why I included it into a book bundle called the Power Wealth Classics. I've read these books just over and over and over and over and over again um, over the years. And that's part 1. Part 2 here I want to talk about before we get started is I did check out the pinned comment. The pinned comment is for the 30-day breakthrough challenge. Take that link, go over, click on the link, check out the 30-day breakthrough challenge, jump into the challenge for 30 days, and your life will change 100%. And I don't talk about this enough, okay, in my videos. I put my links in my YouTube description, and I kind of leave them there. I don't really market and sell them that much. I don't talk about them that much. But here's the bottom line, guys, is if you want to change your life, okay. Now I'm not I don't even know what I want to say because I don't want to talk bad about people. I don't want to talk. I'm not going to mention names. No, that's not the purpose. But if what people are not telling you, if you want to change your life, okay, you got to go to the root cause of the issue. Okay, that's the bottom line. That's might not be what you want to hear, but you got to go to the root cause. Okay. What happens is when you follow other manifesting teachers and gurus or whatever, and I'm not putting anybody down, but they have you chase these manifesting techniques. They have you chase the next best thing. You know what I mean? The next best 24-hour technique. But what you have to understand is, is you stay, get this notification off. You stay in this realm for years. You just keep on chasing the next best thing. If I can speak and I can talk, you understand? Okay. And your life just runs on loop. The same things keep on reoccurring. The same things keep on happening. You keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. You got the same habits, the same routines, the same patterns, the same thinking, the same decisions. You're not changing. Okay, that's the bottom line. I'll be in your face here a little bit, but you are not changing because people are not telling you the truth and you're listening to it. That's his bottom line. Okay, they're feeding you immediate gratification and you're listening to it. Okay, you got to step back and say, am I getting results? Okay, that's why right now I'm really, really pushing a 30-day challenge pretty hard because it's an awesome challenge. It's for 30 days. It's intense. It's made to get you results no matter what you want to do. Okay, if you want to just change your life, it will change your life. If you want to manifest your SP, it will help you do that. If you want to get your dream house, your dream car, your dream job, no matter what you want, it will help you get that because it links to everything. Okay, so now I'm off my soapbox. But I get passionate about this because I'm not saying manifesting techniques play a part, but it only plays a part. You understand? And you know, too many people just jump onto this immediate gratification. That's what sells. You know what I mean? That immediate gratification is what sells to the poor and middle class. Immediate gratification, listen to this, guys. Wealthy people don't fall for immediate gratification. Wealthy people don't fall for hacks. You know what I mean? Wealthy people don't fall for shortcuts because listen, they know there is no shortcuts. A wealthy person knows there is no shortcuts in life. A wealthy person knows there is no hack to make me $1,000,000. Okay. A wealthy person knows this, but it's a trick used in marketing in when you start marketing to middle class and poor. Okay, I hate to sound I know that sounds mean, but that's just marketing in general, my friends. Okay. You know, a wealthy person, listen to this. You know, how a wealthy person looks at shortcuts and hacks. If there's a hack, this is how a wealthy person looks at it is I got to go to somebody that's doing and achieved what I want to do and achieve in life. I got to go to them and work with them. I got to go to them and be mentored by them no matter how much money it costs me. That's their shortcut. That's the hack. That's their shortcut and the hack that most people don't want to hear. Okay. They want everything for free. And even if you give it to them for free, they still don't do it. You understand, my friends. But anyway, you know, I kind of got passionate about this. I got my college in here, so I just want to share that with you guys because I don't talk about this stuff enough. Of you guys got to jump into the challenge. I'm the one who created the challenge, but I've done the challenge myself probably 3 or 4 times. My own flipping challenge. My own flipping thing. Okay? That's how I know it works because I've done it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. But anyway, let's get rocking and rolling and jump into chapter 3. Now, like I said, like with chapter 3, when we move into chapter 4 of the science of getting rich, let me get situated here. Is chapter 4 really starts off the meat and potatoes of the book. Okay. Chapter 1, 2, and 3 really sets up the premise of the book. Now that I'm not saying chapter 1, 2, and 3 are not important. They are. I mean, chapter 2, when we went through yesterday, was extremely good. Okay. And let me find chapter 3. I think chapter 3 is only about 4 pages. Sorry, I'm drinking, but that's my morning collagen. Plus, I like it really cold. So I love to drink it cold. It tastes so good cold. But anyway, chapter 3 is opportunity monopolized. And let me put on my handy dandy glasses just in case. This makes it a little bit easier to read. That way I don't have to go like this and I have to peek over here. I have to entertain you guys somehow. I have to be funny somewhat because sometimes when you do book reviews, it's not the most enjoying thing to listen to. Okay. But like I said, if you want to figure this stuff out, you're on these videos, watching these videos. Okay. Let's begin. Let's begin story time. Let's begin my bedtime story to you, just in case you're sitting here at bedtime listening to me. I should use my bedtime voice. You are not kept poor because opportunity has been taken away from you. Holy hell. Wallace starts right off like hitting the gut. He just hit you in the gut. Listen, you are not kept poor because opportunity has been taken away from you, because other people have monopolized the wealth and have put a fence around it. You may decide not to engage in certain kinds of business, but there are other channels open to you. At different periods, the tide of opportunity moves in different directions according to the needs of the whole and to the particular stage of social evolution which has been reached. There is an abundance of opportunity for the man or woman who will go with the tide instead of trying to swim against it. Should I repeat that one more time? That's kind of powerful. Listen, there is an abundance of opportunity for the man or woman who will go with the tide, with the current, instead of trying to swim against it. How many of us, when we think back in our life, think back to old habits and patterns we have, things we've lived through and went through, circumstances, how many of us basically fight against what's going on in our life? Okay, that's what he means. You're fighting against it. You're going against the current. Like if you're looking at a river, you're looking at a big stream. Okay, the current is coming down, and you're trying to swim against the current. Have you ever like, have you ever like even been in a lake, an ocean, or you've been like, what do they call it? Like water rafting or something like that. Where the boat's going down the current. You ever try to fight against the current? I mean, it's I don't want to say it's impossible to fight against the current, depending on how big the current is, but it's very, very hard. It's very, very exhausting. And you pretty much get exhausted fighting against the current until the current just takes you. Okay. How many of us really do this in our life? Just with circumstances you might not like. Okay, positive or negative. Okay, remember when you fight against something, that creates force. Force creates friction, and friction negates from you. It keeps things from you. That's what I mean. Like you're standing in your own way. You understand? You're standing there blocking your own manifestations, my friends. Listen, office workers, either as individuals or as a group, are not deprived of opportunity. The workers are not being kept down by their masters, by the powers of big business and the conglomerates. As a group, they are where they are because they do things in a certain way. What he's really talking, he's just talking about mentality. You understand? I mean, people, basically, you, me, people in general, they are where they are in life, just how they think. They're thinking in a certain way. That's how Wallace Wattles is talking here. Okay. They're thinking in a certain way. It's how they think, it's how they view the world, it's their habits and decisions. Everything's wrapped together into a mentality, and that mentality is your identity, and your identity is what's keeping you where you are. Okay. That's why the 30-day challenge is so important, because 30-day challenge goes to the root. Your root is your identity. You understand? When they begin to do things in a certain way, the working class can become the master class. The law of wealth is the same for it. I'm going to reread that sentence. It's a little bit wordy, a little bit. Okay, sometimes it's hard to read these books because grammatically, it's not how we really talk today. So let me reread it. I apologize. When they begin to do things in a certain way, the working class can become the master class. The law of wealth is the same for it as it is for all other groups. Woo, that was wordy. Meaning, what he's saying here, it's wordy, is the law of wealth is the same for everybody. Okay. It doesn't show favoritism. Okay. Basically the laws of the universe are the same for everybody. It's the same law for everybody. Okay. So either basically what Wallace is saying, either you learn how to work in harmony with the laws of the universe, with the laws of wealth, or you don't work in harmony with the laws of the universe or the laws of wealth. Okay. It's either way. The law works the same for everybody. That's what he's saying. Listen, workers will remain where they are as long as they continue to do as they do. The individual worker, however, is not held down by the ignorance or the mental slothfulness of one's class. This individual can follow the tide of opportunity to riches. This book will create the conscious awareness of the great secret in life. Okay. Now, one of the reasons why I really love this book, I should have a highlighter around. I don't want to take time looking for a highlighter. But I want you to take a mental note here. What is the great secret of life? Okay. I'll write a comment real fast. I won't pin it, uh, but let me write this out. What is the great secret of life? And this time I didn't hit a button to turn off the computer. Okay, what's the now I want you to because basically what Wallace does through this book, he'll mention things, but he won't tell you the great secret of life like in every chapter. Like but he'll hint to it. He'll question, this is the great secret of life, but then he'll bring it up again in another chapter. So I just want you to think about this. Hold this in the back of your mind. Okay. Listen, I'll reread the last sentence again. This book will create the conscious awareness of the great secret of life. So, what is the great secret of life? Listen, no one is kept in poverty by a shortness in the supply of riches. There is more than enough for all. A palace as large as the Capitol in Washington could be built in every family on earth from the building material available in the United States alone. Under intensive cultivation, this country could produce enough coal, cotton, linen, silk, and food to clothe and feed each person in the world. The visible supply is practically inexhaustible, and the invisible supply really is inexhaustible. Okay. What is he talking about here? He's talking about abundance. Okay. Abundance is infinite. Okay. You can't take what he means abundance is infinite is abundance is for all. It's not going to run out. Okay. You can't ask for too much. Okay. You lots of times we think we can ask for too much. Oh, just help me out this much. Okay. But if you believe abundance is your birthright, abundance is infinite. Okay, abundance is for all. It's not gonna run out. It's an unlimited supply. Okay, that's what he's talking about. Everything you see on earth is made from one original substance, out of which all things proceed. New forms are constantly being made, and older ones are dissolving. But all are shapes assumed by one thing. There is no limit to supply of formless stuff or original substance. The universe is made out of it, but it was not all used in making the universe. The spaces in, through, and between the forms of the visible universe are permitted and filled with the original substance. I'll explain this. I know he's kind of talking in circles here. He's kind of talking like, okay, just get to the point. Like, what is he talking about? Okay. He'll get to it. With the formless stuff, with the raw material of all things. 10,000 universes can still be made, and even then, the supply of universal raw material will not be exhausted. Okay, he's talking about abundance again. Abundance is infinite. Abundance, listen to this abundance is divine, meaning abundance is in all things. No person, therefore, is poor because nature is poor or because there is not enough to go around. Another jab to the gut. Listen, no person, therefore, is poor because nature is poor or because there is not enough to go around. Nature is an inexhaustible storehouse of riches. The supply will never run short. Original substance is alive with creative energy and is constantly producing more forms. When the supply of the building material is exhausted, more will be produced. I put my finger there. Did you hear that? Like he's saying, when you think the supply is exhausted, more will be produced, meaning abundance is unlimited. Okay. Abundance is divine. Abundance is in all things. It's inexhaustible. Okay. When you think there's not enough, more will be produced. More will just come out of thin air. When the soil, listen to this, when the soil is exhausted, so that foodstuffs and material for clothing will no longer grow upon it, it will be renewed and more soil will be made. When all the gold and silver has been dug from the earth, if human beings are still in such a stage of social development as to need gold and silver, more will be produced from the formless. The formless stuff responds to the needs of humans. It will not let them be without any good thing. Isn't that wonderful? Like I like that when he summed up that sentence right there. Listen, the formless stuff responds to the goods of humans. It will not let them be without a good thing. You know what I mean? That means abundance is your birthright. Okay, God wants you to be abundant. That's what it means. I'm not talking about religion here. Okay, God wants you to be abundant. Bottom line. This is true of man collectively. The race as a whole is always abundantly rich. If individuals are poor, it is because they do not follow a certain way of doing things, which makes the individual person rich. The formless stuff is intelligent, it is material, which thinks. It is alive and is always impelled toward more life. It is the natural and inherent impulse of life to seek to live more, is the nature of intelligence to enlarge itself, and the quality of consciousness to seek to extend its boundaries and find fuller expression. The universe forms has been made by formless living substance throwing itself into the form in order to express itself more fully. Sorry, my voice was getting scratchy. Time for our collagen break. But I like what he said. I just want to finish the paragraph there. But I like what he said is that it is the nature of intelligence to enlarge itself on the quality of consciousness to seek to extend its boundaries and find full expression. Okay, look back at your life. Okay, every individual, this is why we always have this innate desire to get better. You understand? Because inside us, really inside us to our core, as abundance is a birthright, we always want we always want like a fuller expression of things, kind of by Wattles language. Okay. We want to do more. We want to become more. We want to become better. We want good things. We want our dream house or dream car. We want our dream career. You understand? Maybe you want to be an entrepreneur. Maybe you want to be rich, want to be a millionaire, multimillionaire. Okay. Maybe you necessarily don't want to be rich, but you want to live a dope life. Okay. You want to take care of your family. You want to make sure your kids are taken care of. You want to make sure your parents are taken care of. You understand? You want to make sure your kids go to a great school. They have a better life than you had. Okay. That's what kind of most parents' dream is. You're basically giving your kids a better life than what you had growing up. Okay. And that all comes down to abundance. Abundance is infinite. It's ingrained in us to kind of want more, be more, and do more. Okay, that's what Wallace is saying. Now, there's only a few paragraphs left. We're on the last page. The paragraphs are pretty tiny. The universe is a great living presence, always moving inherently toward more life and fuller functioning. Okay. That should tell you something. I'll read it one more time. The universe is a great living presence. Look at it this way: the universe, universal laws. Okay. It's moving forwards, it's not moving backwards. Okay. That's what he's saying. It's moving forwards in advancement of life. Okay. Doing more, becoming better, becoming that most successful version of you. That's what never Goddard. That's what Wallace is talking about. Okay. I'll read it one more time. The universe is a great living presence, always moving inherently toward more life and fuller functioning. Nature is formed for the advancement of life. Its motive is to increase of life. For this reason, everything which can possibly minister to life is bountifully provided. There can be no lack unless God is to contradict himself and nullify his own works. Ooh, I love that. Listen, you are not kept poor by a shortness in the supply of riches. He keeps on coming back and saying that you are not kept poor, you are not kept in poverty, okay, no matter what that means to you, okay. No matter you can sit there and say, "Well, Chad, I'm not poor," but yet you don't have your dream house. You're not living life on your terms. You're not doing exactly what you want. Okay, so if you're not doing exactly what you want, this applies to you as well. Okay, listen, you are not kept poor by shortness in the supply of riches. Okay, but the sentence before that I really liked. Listen, there can be no lack unless God is to contradict himself and nullify his own works. Okay, now he's going back to biblical. Okay, if basically God says that abundance is in all things, well that's what it means. Abundance is in all things. Like God doesn't contradict himself. If God says is you ask, believe, and receive, that's what he means. Is you ask, believe, and receive. Okay, there is no contradiction. Okay, what God says, it stands. It stands as law. It's a universal principle. Okay, if God says, what have you asked for when you go into prayer? Believe that you received it and you will receive it. Okay, that's almost verbatim of what that scripture says. Okay, I'm paraphrasing, but that's almost verbatim what that scripture says. I can't remember where it comes from. Okay, I can't give you the book and a chapter and the verses, the actual where it is, but the whole point is God doesn't contradict himself. Bottom line. Okay. Now the last paragraph. It is a fact which I shall demonstrate a little further on that even the resources of the formless supply are at the command of any man or woman who will act and think in a certain way. The great secret to life is available to all. Now he comes back. Now, kind of in the middle of the chapter, he says, "What is a great secret of life?" Then at the end of the chapter, he ends it with, "The great secret of life is available to all." Now, what is a great secret of life? Did you catch it in this chapter? The great secret of life is abundance is in all things. Abundance is your birthright. Abundance is divine. The abundance is limitless. Okay, and everybody is abundant. Okay, that's what he's saying. Okay, that's the secret of life. Is now it goes a little bit deeper as we go on in the further chapters, but right now in this chapter, that's what he means. The great secret of life is abundant. Abundance is infinite. Abundance is in every opportunity. Okay, you abundance is ingrained in you. Abundance is your birthright because God dwells in you. Okay, you are not separate from source. You are not separate from God. That's what you have to understand. Okay. But that is the end of chapter 3. Now, tomorrow we will do chapter 4. Now, chapter 4 really starts the meat and potatoes of this book. Okay. I love chapter 1, 2, 3. Okay. It starts the premise of how the book is going to kind of rock and roll from here. But chapter 4 really gets into that, starts the meat and potatoes of the book. Okay. Is chapter 4. So, chapter 4, I'm pretty excited for. But it's nice to kind of really, for myself, is really kind of slow down and really go through chapter 1, 2, and 3. Okay, because even when I read this book, usually I read it to myself. I don't read it out loud. Okay, and I can lots of times I can read these books pretty fast because of I read them over and over and over and over and over again. So lots of times, like once I hit a paragraph, I know what the paragraph says because I read it so many times. But it's nice even for myself to slow it down, read it out loud, um, to discuss these concepts just in my interpretation. Um, it helps me as well. That's why lots of times, like when I feel like reading the books, I think, well, I can go live. But anyway, tribe, just want to come on here. Like I said before, as we wrap this up, a few things here is I am really, really going to try hardcore to go live every single day. Um, sometimes it would be book reviews like this. Sometimes it'll just be me going live answering questions and stuff like that. I am in Thailand, of course, right now. Aang and I, we've been up in Surin for 1 year taking care of her dad. So Aang and I sat down the other day. So we decided we are going to plan our exit from Surin. We kind of discussed it, sat down, and we both are kind of a little bit tired of Surin, a little bit. Not tired of her dad, I know taking care of him, but just, it's kind of ready to move on for both of us. Not move on separate, but move on together. Okay. Kind of clear that up. Uh, so that would be coming down the pipes. In June, this is February. In June, I am going to go home, visit family. Because at that point, June, I've been in Thailand now, uh, almost 2 years without going home. Okay, I've been in Thailand altogether about 4 years, but I always go home and visit family, usually in the summers. But this time, last summer, I stayed in Thailand. So this summer, I'm gonna go home 100%. So when I go home, June-ish, something like that, I usually go home for a few months, and so we're gonna make our exit before that time comes. Okay. So that's exciting. That's coming down. That's why you kind of see, kind of the mess behind me, stuff like that. And we got all of our kind of expensive stuff like in this room so we can lock it when we go somewhere. Uh so that's why it kind of looks like crowded or whatever. The house is for a Thai style, the house is pretty big, but just Aang kind of felt nervous, having my computers. I wanted to set it up kind of. There's a big nook area off from the living room. I wanted to set it up out there, but Aang was a little bit nervous because that's kind of by the door. She didn't want people to kind of see my setup, and you know, what I mean, uh, encourage people to either want to come in and take it or whatever when we're not here. You get me on that stuff. So but that's coming down so that's coming up. That's kind of been pretty exciting. So we're kind of working through that. And another thing before we go, remember the 30-day challenge. I got the comment pinned. Go in, check it out. 100% serious. This will change your life. Okay. 100%. You need to jump into the challenge, do the challenge, really commit for 30 days, do everything. It's a walkthrough for 30 days, my friends. Okay. It takes about an hour a day. You set aside an hour a day to do this for 30 days, and you will not be disappointed. 100%. I created it, but I've also practiced what I preach. I've went through this 3 or 4 times, even myself, doing identity work and stuff like that, going to the root. Once you expose the root, everything else follows. Okay. That's what people are not telling you. Okay. But anyway, peace out. For a lot of you, it's testing 1, 2. Okay. I thought my mic was off there for a second. I was looking at the equalizer down at the bottom. It wasn't moving. So I was thinking, holy hell, like, did I do this whole video with no sound? I've done that before. But anyway, tribe, remember, I love you guys. If you have questions, jump in the comments and stuff like that. I try to be as active as I can in the comments. But anyway, peace out. I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow on the next live stream.